Kawhi Leonard is experiencing inflammation on his surgically repaired right knee, and he could possibly be held out for all of training camp. There's no guarantee that he's going to be able to attend training camp with this ailment he's going through with his knee. I'm just going to read some quotes from this ESPN article. I think that the timing is all going to be basically depend on how his knee responds to each phase. Lawrence Frank said, "No one has a crystal ball." Lawrence Frank. "We are just really going to focus on strengthening and loading. I think we learned some lessons. Just if you think about it, he desperately wanted to come back and play in the Dallas series. And within a game and a half, the inflammation came where it wasn't manageable. So we don't want to put ourselves in that position." I'm going to read some more quotes. "I think the encouraging thing is we have seen progress. This was a really tricky thing in terms of the inflammation. We are kind of searching for answers along the way. And with time, we continue to learn more about what works, what hasn't. It's truly unfortunate that he's had to deal with this, but I think we're definitely trending in the right direction." Frank said, "Leonard is encouraged now. We got the knee in a really, really good place." Frank said he came back for Dallas in the playoffs and it has been manageable since. But we really, really spent the offseason trying to get this 100%. And I think we're getting closer and closer. For those of you who don't know, Lawrence Frank is the general manager of the Clippers. Obviously, he's going to say the right things about being optimistic, about making progress on Kawhi's knee injury, that he's going to get better. But we've heard this story for years that Kawhi is recovering from this injury or that injury, and that they have found a new way how to treat him and that he's going to be better this upcoming season. It's like the boy that cried wolf. I don't think they really know what they're doing with this injury or are honestly believing that it's going to end well for them, knowing his history when it comes to being healthy, that it's not looking good for them. I think the Clippers are in some serious trouble, but I would think that they would also know that they're in trouble now with Paul George being gone and not there to carry their team when Kawhi misses his typical 20 to 30 games per year, because that's most likely going to happen. Granted, last year he played 68 games. However, it still didn't pay off for them because when they were in the playoffs, I think he only played 2 games, and then he missed the rest of that series against Dallas, which ultimately led to them losing that series. They couldn't defeat the Mavs without Kawhi Leonard. And it's been the case since he's gotten there. He always has some injury. One year he tore his ACL, and then other years he's not been able to play a full series in the playoffs. So he's what I call the part-time superstar. That's really what he is. When he plays, he's great, but you're only going to get him for like 1 or 2 games, and then he'll be gone. That's really who he is. So the Clippers are in some serious trouble. I actually don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs this year the way this team is built. It's not looking good. The Paul George loss was a huge, huge blow to them. I think it's a huge blow that they're not going to be able to recover from. If you look at their team, their roster, really, I would say their 2 or 3 best players, I would say, is James Harden. There's that other kid, I think, what's his name? I think his name is Trey Mann. I think that's his name. No, it's not Trey Mann. It's James Harden, Norman Powell. Who else? Let me just look at the list. I'm just trying to see who else they have. James Harden, Norman Powell. What was Trey Mann's stats last year? Yeah, he's not great. He's just solid. But yeah, it's like Norman Powell and James Harden are like their top 2 players, and you can say Zubac is also important because he's like their only legit center that they have, but they're going to have to rely heavily on Norman Powell and James Harden to carry the load this upcoming season when Kawhi misses 20 to 30 games. But I don't think those guys are going to be able to carry that load. Harden, when he was in his prime, could carry this load. He could carry a team to 50 wins just off of just his talent and his skill set. He was that great in his prime. But Harden is now way past his prime. He's just a a decent player. He's not a great player anymore, so I don't think he has it in him to carry this team. I just see this team missing the playoffs. The Clipper fans really don't have anything to look forward for this upcoming season other than attending games at their new arena. I guess that'll be fun, but this team is going nowhere. They're pretty much done. Honestly, if I was the Clippers, I would try to find a way to package Kawhi Leonard and get rid of him. That's what they should do. They should try to trade him while they can, get a lot in return. There's always going to be a desperate championship team that's going to be willing to give up a lot just to get him, even though he's injury prone, that they're just going to assume like if they can keep him healthy for the playoffs, they can ride him into the sunset and steal a title. There's definitely going to be a team out there like that. That's what the Clippers should be trying to do. I would say if I was them, I probably would wait until All-Star break to strike in trading him. Just try to make sure he plays some good game. He plays some games and he looks great. Get a team to be a sucker and then just get rid of him. That's what they should do because they're not going to win a championship with this guy. It's just never happening. This experiment with him was a massive failure. Granted, I don't knock them for trying because they are the Clippers. So they went out there and got him and PG several years ago and it just didn't pan out. It's time to start over again. That's what they should do. It'll be interesting, but I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think the Clippers. Well, this is not bold. I think they're gonna miss the playoffs, but I think they're gonna trade Kawhi Leonard sometime this season. So that's just my bold prediction. I just think they're gonna come to that realization pretty soon that this guy can't be on a winning team anymore, where he's the man. He has to be on a stacked team just to prepare for when he's not playing. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.